Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another Spiritualistic Pick a Card reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from your galactic ancestors. So please take a deep breath, drawing the energy up your spine, creating a clear and open channel. And as you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We've got group number 1 on the left with emotional awareness. Group number 2 in the center with follow the plan. And group number 3 on the right with gratitude practice. As always, the timestamps to your readings are listed below in the description box, as well as links to personal readings. I do offer personalized channeled messages, as well as tarot and astrology readings, astrocartography, and Reiki sessions as well. I also offer personalized light codes, and all of the tarot and oracle decks used in today's readings will be listed there as well. If you're interested in exploring this topic more, I have a ton of galactic and starseed readings here on my channel, as well as on my Inner Circle channel, which is exclusive. If you would like more exclusive content, I do also have a Patreon. I'm up on TikTok, which most of you guys know already, but I also have recently opened a subscription page on there as well. So there are several different collectives for you to choose from where we can connect, and you can find the vibe or vibes that match you perfectly. And again, I do have one-on-ones open currently. I just reopened them, so book a slot while I still have them available. As always, I love you and I'm grateful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot if you let the ads run through. That is one great and free way to help show your support. And as always, I love you and I'm grateful for you. And I'll see you at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, group 1. Namaste and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at your galactic ancestry and we're pulling a message from them for you today. Now, the first card here is emotional awareness. This is letting me know that your galactic ancestors would like for you to connect more deeply with what it is and what it means to be a human. There are definitely different emotions that you experience here than your galactic ancestors experience or have experienced. It might be because you come from different places with different experiences of emotions. It might be because you're able to feel different types of emotions, or you might even be from a collective who has transcended the emotional body as we know it in humanity. As you know, human emotions are very dense, especially in comparison with other collectives that are in existence. So with the emotional awareness card, this is the topic they wish to speak with you about today mostly. So let's see which collectives would like to come through for you today. Using my Light Codes Oracle deck, we're going to see which of the collectives that are in here are part of your galactic origins. Which collective are the galactic origins for group number 1 that would like to send a message to them today? Whoa, okay, all of them. You know, all of them fell out except for these 3. So I'm actually going to take these 3. So we do have Vega that came out too as well. I was getting a request to channel them. So I do want to mention, for those of you who connect with Vega, that I do have a channeled message from them here up on my channel already. And that they kind of came through just as a nod and a little wink towards that collective. However, the 3 collectives that came out for you today were, Ancient Knowledge, Mintaka, and Anunnaki. Very interesting, especially with these ancient energies here. Now, I put all of my galactic light codes from this particular light codes oracle I've made into the selection process, and the only one that wasn't specifically the name of a collective was the Ancient Knowledge card. The reason that I included this was to honor the fact that there are ancient collectives and ancient civilizations that might not be mentioned, or we might not even know yet. So the intention here was that if this came out, this would represent a collective that either you are not currently in contact with, humanity does not know exist, or it's just one that's not in these options, and I do have quite a lot of options. I've got at least 20 collectives here to choose from that deck specifically. So your galactic origins are going to include, especially with the Anunnaki card here, very, very ancient primordial energies. I'm also hearing Essassani. So some of you might really enjoy listening to channeled messages from Bashar. I do channel Bashar sometimes on my Inner Circle channel here on YouTube, but we've got Essassani collective coming out for you. We have primordial energies coming out for you. We've got the Anunnaki, which are also primordial energies coming through for you. And we've got Mintaka coming through as well. Now, Mintaka is actually part of the Orion system, and Orion is actually kind of close to Earth. As you know, we can see the constellation when we look up at the sky here, which is a little different from the Anunnaki or maybe multi-dimensional collectives, primordial collectives, or just very ancient, maybe futuristic and evolved collectives. So these are the energies that want to come through for you today. I will flip over the light codes so that we can attune the vibration here and we can connect a little more deeply with these collectives, especially with the Anunnaki. I did get a request for Anunnaki and Vega actually recently for channeling them, and those were the first two collectives that came out. So if you asked for those collectives, which I actually had more than one person ask for them, or if you resonate with those, that's just a nod to that here. So let's see. Off of this ancient knowledge card, scrying from this light code, we can see that it seems as though you have mastered the emotional body, or you have some sort of mastery within your energy. It seems as though it takes quite a lot in order to create a wave in your ocean of emotions. In your sea of emotions, it takes a huge push or a huge pull in order to make a swell or a current. This is not to say you are emotionless, but rather it is to say that this primordial and or highly evolved energy here is reminding you that when you feel a spark of emotion, do not overlook it as being human, as being overly human, or as being like normal. Basically, don't overlook it. Simply because there are many things in this world that will shake you to your core, and that's part of the beautiful experience of being human. However, as a soul, this collective would like to let you know specifically that, well, you're not always in this part of town, so to speak. And because of that, there's definitely going to be experiences that, looking back, you'll be glad that you have, even if they're a pain in the butt to walk through while you're experiencing them. Certain emotions you haven't experienced before, or this collective that's coming through first doesn't really experience. And a lot of these might be things like greed or jealousy or anger or frustration or sadness, among other very positive emotions as well. But this is to remind you that all things do circle back to love, and all love vibrations do circle back to source. They do circle back to even primordial energy. And so with this, they want to remind you that yes, you are here to be a creator being. Yes, you are here to be a leader. Yes, you are here to allow yourself not to get your decisions and your actions swayed by human emotions, but that grounding in those emotions, not letting them control you, but letting yourself recognize in the moment how beautiful, special, and rare of an occasion and experience it is for you to be experiencing this, just in general, as anybody on this planet, is a really beautiful, unique experience. There's definitely celestial energy coming through here. And with this ancient knowledge card, I'm also picking up on like Kuan Yin energy. I'm picking up on collectives that might not be very familiar for me. Like I'm being shown Tibetan energies or maybe Chinese mythology, something like this. I don't personally know the most about those ideologies, so I'm going to leave that part there. But with the ancient knowledge card, I do want to mention that there's definitely some sort of more peculiar energy coming through that's very, very ancient, kind of in a way that it's a tale as old as time, is what I'm hearing, to the point where maybe it's been so old that it's lost its relevancy, in the way that what is called history for millennia suddenly turns into mythology. The moment that we remember what a face looks like, or what that name really was, or how it was spelled, or the moment that it's been 1 year too long since that city lasted on this earth, kind of in that vibe. So that's what I'm picking up here for the first one. I will pull more cards, but off the second card with Mintaka here. Oh, your emotions here are very strongly connected to your intuition. You're very clairsentient, which means that you've got a very strong sense of empathy, and clairsentience is bigger than that. It is not just absorbing energy or picking up on emotions around you, it is feeling sensations through your body that is intuitive. The Mintakans here would like to come through and let you know that as your galactic ancestors, they know that you're highly connected with the sea, and you also have access to different elemental beings on this earth more easily than others. simply because the Mintakans kind of have a special foot in the door connecting with different beings on Earth. You might find yourself very connected with mermaids. You might find yourself very connected with like unicorns or fae or leprechauns or energies that might not necessarily be considered very grounded and visible to the human spectrum of visible light. There's definitely an incandescent or iridescent kind of energy that's coming through as well. And the Mintakans would like to remind you how innocent and pure your soul genuinely is as well. You have this pureness, this curiosity, and this excitability that you often feel a spark through your emotions. Now, this might sometimes lead to impulsivity. It might sometimes lead towards excitement. It might sometimes lead into oversharing in the ways that these manifest as physical human traits. Now, they've been watching your emotional journey. And while it is true that it takes a while for these waves of emotions to really get stirred up within you, it takes a lot, especially with this primordial or very ancient energy coming through here. The Mintakans want to remind you that, well, when a wave does hit, you definitely feel it. It's definitely noticeable. There's definitely a spark. There's definitely noticeable action. You definitely start ripples. Now, this is something that in Mintaka, it's very normal. Every single motion in this water collective affects everything else because they're all connected through the element of water. However, here on Earth, it acts the same. But rather than connecting through the water element, which is more sentient, we can feel it more, we connect through the air element, which is less sensitive and drier, of course, than water. So the Mintakans would like to remind you how much of a ripple you actually make when you do connect with your emotional body, when you do follow your higher excitement, when you do lead with your creativity, and when you do allow yourself to express and move. And do not forget how your impact on the world around you is greater than average. Not because you are better or worse or more or less special than any individual, but because you are used to making a water impact on a water collective around you. And that intensity, although now in an air collective, that intensity has carried through. You send water-like signals. I'm being shown like echolocation or different kinds of sending information through sound waves or just through vibrational waves. You are able to send still these same gifts, these same vibrations in the same strength. However, it's across air. So you still have the same impact. There is just less water densely packed in the air, in the atmosphere of your current collective on Earth. And so the Mintakans would like to remind you that your emotional awareness is important because every time you move your body, not just your energy field, but your ability to push and pull tides, your ability to, what you would say here, move mountains, even though in Mintaka, it might just be as simple as making a swell within water, with water beings around other energies that are around water. They would like to remind you that your ability to move mountains, as you would say as an analogy on Earth, is just as simple to you as making a swell in Mintaka. You also have a special gift connected to your voice and your throat chakra, and connected to your creativity and your ability to connect with, again, this purity and this innocence. And so your Mintakan ancestors would like to let you know that you having a beautiful heart is here on Earth intentionally. The way that you are treated because you are giving is a reflection of the other party, not a reflection of you. Remember, it is always the captain that goes down with the ship if the captain is in integrity, not because the ship ever seeks out sinking, but because it is better to go down with the sinking ship of love and unconditional love and gratitude than it is to jump off a ship of love just because you fear it might sink. Mintaka would like to remind you that all ships of love are not destined to sink. You see, on your planet, the effect that sirens have had on sailors. And they would like to remind you that as a part of the Orion system, Orion to Earth has a very similar dynamic to that of a siren to a sailor. So, energetically and gently and lovingly, they remind you to check your privilege. This third collective here that came through for you, the Anunnaki. Now, this is a very powerful collective. They would like to remind you here that you have been tending to small details for a very long time. However, when you zoom out, you can move the bigger pieces. You are crossing T's and dotting I's for a paper you don't need to be writing, because it doesn't need to be written on paper, because you have higher level technology now. You can utilize your voice. You don't even need to be crossing T's and dotting I's. However, you need to zoom out to the pen in your hand and the paper, zoom out to other ways to write what you're writing, zoom outside of the aspect of writing, and see on the furthermost outside container that you possibly can. The Anunnaki would like to remind you that there is a reason for gentrification. They would like to remind you that there is a reason that they're oftentimes discriminated against as a collective. They would also like to remind you that their planet is very easily visible in your night sky on a clear night. However, there's a reason that they are talked about or spoken about the least. There is a reason why there is fear-mongering and or idolatry about their collective. They want to remind you that similarly to you, group number 1, they simply exist, and their existence, well, it can be controversial. It can be threatening. It can be inspiring. It can be elevating. It can be ascending. But what it does do is force a condition or a matrix to unlearn and unfold and connect with truth. Again, we have this idea of history that has been erased simply because it's been one too many years. Here we have this energy of hearsay, because it's easier to collect confirmation bias or choose the story that is the most synchronistic with our own narrative than to actually put the ego aside and seek truth. Now, the story of the Anunnaki is one where you will find, again with quite primordial creatures, not the most primordial creatures, but before life as we fathom, was, believe it or not, a battle of the egos. This battle of the egos created the higher consciousness of Earth as we know it before she manifested and incarnated as a physical creature. The Anunnaki would like to remind you of your ancestor, specifically Tiamat. And as she comes forward through this reading for you today, she wants to remind you, never let anyone touch your crown, let alone take it, or even adjust it if they think it's crooked. Because the way that you choose to wear your crown, intentionally or intentionally, is exactly the way that it's meant to be. Do not ever let another ego adjust what it is you know to be true, or the decisions that you choose to make simply because you chose to make those decisions. Be aware of your emotions. You are in control of your emotions, and if you let them loose, if you let them roam wild and free, still stand by them, stand on them. You can be aware of what those emotions are without feeling the need to clean them up. Now, group number 1. You are called into your purpose in a deeper way. And as you walk through this earth with your intuition expanding and your clairvoyancy expanding as well, remember that no matter what it is that you choose to do in this life, it has in some way, by somewhere else, been predestined and predetermined. The stories that come from how you act on this earth have already been determined, just as they will be told later, in the same fashion. Because time is happening simultaneously if you are experiencing the realm with which time even exists. With this, acknowledge that the ripples that you make are larger than you think. Acknowledge that no matter how deeply you explore yourself, there's always further to explore. No matter how erratic you might perceive yourself to be, there is a cause for everything. And sometimes the best way that you can stay in control is to release control. Have awareness of your emotions, not control over what they are. Do not allow your emotions to fully steer the ship. However, do not be afraid to go down with said ship. Your ship will not go down, but your willingness to go down sends a vibration of integrity through your physical incarnation that is a bigger deal than you might be thinking. So we'll pull from these collectives, these galactic ancestors as a group. So what is the consensus of this group of galactic ancestors? What message do they have for you today? We'll pull from my Follow Your Heart Oracle, and then we'll pull from the Tarot. Okay. Gratitude practice. It would not be a galactic reading if we were not mentioning gratitude. Stay rooted in gratitude and be grateful for the earth. Remember, she is a being in and of herself. She is also a galactic being. We are simply, in essence, her microbiome. With the Ancient Knowledge card, we have Finder of Lost Things, which is encouraging you to dive more deeply into what you think that you know. Certain things you do intuitively. I love that you have the Listening to Animal Guides with the Mintaka card. I think that that's perfectly fitting. Expect the unexpected, especially as you deep dive. Yes, you're going to find some things that have been known to be lost, maybe to humanity, maybe to you, maybe to certain energies in general. You might be finding scriptures that were thrown away. You might be finding books that were put in a collection of rare books that no one can access. You might find collectives that are not spoken of. You might find the ancestors of these ancestors, and they might have a different message for you. Remember that your connection to the beings on Earth is sacred, and remember that there is also a reason why you feel more connected, perhaps to animals, than to other humans, which are animals and primates. There is this sense of duty and responsibility that you have pertaining to your natural instincts. You feel somewhat a duty to reconnect to your primal instincts, such as connecting with the weather, adjusting your circadian rhythm, feeling when there are energies around you, visible or invisible. Keep an eye on the animals around you. They have access to different visible and auditory senses than you do. Channel through them and see what they sense that you cannot, to open up your senses. I'm being shown I often take my dog on sniff walks, and I live at the beach. So I'll take her down to the beach during low tide, and she will sniff all of these groups of kelps, because where I live there is a lot of kelp forest. And she will sniff all of these oceanic creatures and stuff that's going on. Her nose is amazing. They can pick up on emotions, events, creatures, things like that for a very long period of time before she's picking up on the smell. So I will intuitively try to connect with what she is picking up on through her sense of smell. I don't have that sense of smell, but she's able to pick up on information in a different way than I am. And so there's an energy of merging those kinds of things together. I was just called to share that example with you. Finally, your galactic ancestors would like to remind you that you can travel anywhere, in any realm, astrally, causally, physically, spiritually. There is nothing that is off limits to anyone spiritually unless they themselves made it off limits to themselves. If that belief serves them and they are sure that they believe that, then it is off limits. This is why there are things that you hear are off limits to remote view or astrally project to or download that you hear. But you, Group 1, have absolutely no problem doing this. There is no such thing as limitation in this universe, especially when you come from outside of it. The Anunnaki are a wonderful reminder that what is perceived to be the being is really only the shell, whether it's the human to the spirit, the Anunnaki being to their spirit, and the Anunnaki being is known to be dimensional beings. Remember that oftentimes idolatry does not paint a true picture, which means either the container for the energy was made up, or what is contained within is made up. The Anunnaki are friends with the higher being of what is now Gaia, which is now Earth. The Anunnaki are soulmates of Terra. They would like to remind you that they cannot, as their raw being, step foot on your planet. And remind you once more that when history becomes mythology, facts are skewed. We'll get into the tarot and see what other messages they've got for you today. Again, they're going back to this rooted in gratitude energy. Very high vibrational, also very multidimensional. Speaking slowly, lowly, concisely. Okay, as you're surely observing. We have the world, which I love this. I'm hearing that this represents a council. It can be a galactic council or federation if you dig that. If you do, if you don't, that's cool. It's coming through, so I will mention it. We have the world, and I'm receiving like this group of worlds, like your world, other worlds. It's just the concept of a world is coming through. There's a renewal of your concept of a world and what that means. It might be breaking physical barriers. It's giving again the idea of the container, the world, a physical construct, or the world, the theoretical, or the theory, the idea of a world versus the concept of the world versus the physical manifestation of a world. There's something about this that is renewing. The container, the inside and the outside. They're purifying into one of the same. And you will find where you find yourself grounded into. You have chosen to experience gravity on Earth. Gravity as you can measure it in meters per second square is being challenged by what happens when you are outside of a place with meters, space, or time, seconds. You can gravitate as a verb towards many energies outside of time and space. You are gravitating to your earth physically. And they would like to open you up to the spiritual experience of finding other forms of gravity. Not with your feet on a planetary electromagnetic field, but exploring gravitation, magnetism outside of time and space, and seeing where that leads you. I'm hearing please stand up. You as a being have experienced more than enough creation, sustenance, creation, sustaining, and destruction to be able to understand why you are gravitated towards the energies that you're gravitating towards. There is a renewal that is asking to be sustained. The effort must be taken from the creation into the sustaining energy. You have recently graduated from destruction into creation and out of creation into sustaining. So explore that journey where all is the same. You will find a plateau. You will find infinity. You will find consciousness. And you will find a realm you have traveled to before that you have not yet quite known the name. It will be revealing itself to you. Group number 1, that is your channeled message from your galactic ancestors. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity for you. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. If you would like a more personalized reading, I do offer one-on-ones. You can find those in the description box. They're on my Etsy store at Spiritualistik. If you would like my Light Codes Oracle deck, my mini Oracle deck, my Follow Your Heart Oracle deck, my graphic tarot, or any of my other tarot and oracle decks, you can find those on my Etsy store as well. I do hand wrap crystals to send those little babies home to you. I have written a few books if you're interested in that, largely tarot and astrology, a guided journal, and I've created some other journals just to help you, like a dream journal, intention journals, meditation, channeled message journals, things like that, candles, spiritual stuff, of course. So if you're interested in that, Reiki sessions, one-on-ones with me, astrology, astrocartography. I always pull the draconic chart to low-key, so no matter what kind of reading you get astrologically, you'll always get the soul imprint behind it as well, so we get the higher picture. So if you're interested in any of that or working with me, you can find all of that in the description box below. I have plenty of more content, and I have channeled these collectives specifically already. They will be up on this channel and or my Inner Circle channel on YouTube. That is where most of my channel messages lie. If you would like more grounded readings, you can find them on my Patreon and on my TikTok. I also have a subscription channel on my TikTok, which I just recently launched. So you can join the welcome party over there. We're having a lot of fun. I love you and I'm grateful for you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and it helps other people who might resonate with this energy find it when they're ready. So feel free to check out another pile, another reading, and I will see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 2. Namaste and welcome to your reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from your galactic ancestors, and you selected the second group with the Follow the Plan card. Group number 2, the energy that I'm picking up on here first is that you are very closely connected to these galactic ancestors, whether you know it or not. I'm getting that you definitely carry some of these character traits. You've been following the plan for a while of your soul's journey, your chosen incarnation journey, as well as the larger plan of your galactic ancestors. So you have been breaking ancestral karma, you have been breaking patterns, you have been evolving and ascending and assisting not only yourself and your community, not only your bloodline ancestors, but also your galactic ancestors. Group number 2, this is the energy of somebody who does the work for more than just your current collective. So you might actually be assisting in the ascension of higher collectives as well, of astral worlds and planets, of other collectives, of other dimensions. You seem to be still at a place where the galactic ancestors that you have coming through, you in some way, you are dimensionally looking inwardly at them, meaning that you are perhaps in consciousness outside of the dimensions that are of your ancestors that are coming through with their message for you today. Meaning that while you might have passed through these collectives in other lifetimes, or while you are simultaneously aligning with these vibrations, with these frequencies, you are also holding frequencies that are faster vibrating or higher dimensional, higher vibrational than these collectives as well. And so you are following the plan, and I'm also getting a little bit of this teamwork makes the dream work vibe here, where you are following the set plan and they're following the set plan, but you're kind of checking in with each other along the way because it's a mutual growth and progression process. So let's take a look at the collectives that are coming through here. So we started off with my mini oracle deck. Now we'll be taking a look at my Light Codes Oracle. I pulled some of the collectives out of here that wanted to come out for this reading, and we'll shuffle from these and see who are the galactic ancestors that wish to come out for you. So first and foremost, we have Andromeda coming through here, Sirius, and we have the Golden Dragons of Maldek coming through as well. So it makes a lot of sense, the energies that we were picking up on before. So what we're going to do is flip over these cards so I can scry off of the light codes. We will pull a stream of energy from the tarot, and then we're going to relate that energy and use that to read a message from each of these collectives for you. So group number 2, the first thing we're getting from Andromeda is that you are stepping into a chapter where you are being encouraged to create and also to see the world, the human world, the earthly world, from an external perspective, in a way where you are in some way, shape, or form more open to neighbors. This might be to galactic neighbors. It might be to the neighbors that are on your street or in your town. You're being called to interact with more your neighbors. You're being called to maybe exchange or barter or trade with your neighbors. This is part of the plan. The energies that are around you and are in your realm of experience, whether they are earthly, whether they are extraterrestrial or extra dimensional, multi-dimensional, basically all the way from 1D all the way into infinite dimensions. The things that are in your realm of expertise, all of these frequencies are in alignment with you. They are, for lack of a better term, your soul mates, friends of your soul. So there's a reason why the neighbors that are around you, in your aura, in your energetic field, in your neighborhood, physically, in your consciousness, are here. And they want to remind you here as well that you are beautiful, you are loved, you are evolving, and your evolving helps the evolution of others. And there's again this energy of trading or bartering or maybe exchange of ideas, exchange of goods, exchange of skills or something like this, that is going to help strengthen the community and strengthen the teamwork aspect of the community. I'm hearing that phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, or like it takes a village. And so this might not be directly related to a child, although it can be for some of you, but there is definitely this energy of allowing yourself to almost partake in some sort of mutual exchange in giving and receiving, not just with the people around you, but also with the collectives around you, with the dimensions that are around you. And this also does ground back into your physical neighborhood as well. So you might have been receiving some ideas or some downloads about ways that you can help different communities that are around you in some way. And so this message from Andromeda is to remind you that Your galactic neighbors, your friends in consciousness, the energies that are around you, that are connecting with you, that you resonate with, your soul family, even the people or the collectives or the things around you that you might not even resonate with as being your soul family, this is a reminder to you that they are, and that they are here in some way for you to unlock them and really explore the dynamic of the relationship between you. Remember that nothing is in your awareness or in your consciousness or in your experience by accident at all whatsoever. You have the opportunity and the ability and the intention spiritually to serve every single thing you come into contact with in any plane of existence. And it also works the same way around as well. So Andromeda would like to remind you to get creative, to be open to some of those downloads about ways that you can serve your community in creative ways, whether this is making little things and trading them, whether this is propagating one of your plants and spreading it around so that people can have a little bit of love, whether this is helping build your community in consciousness with skill, with a trade. And remember to open this up in consciousness to other dimensions and also ground it all the way too. This is a reminder that you can serve your neighbors in consciousness, your friends in energy, your friends in frequency. And whether they are theoretical, whether they are mythological, whether they are extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional, or whether they are just people that you see quite often that maybe you don't relate to very often, or they're the people, plants, and animals in your life, the spirit guides in your life on a daily basis. They're all here as friends of your soul with a plan to carry through, with some sort of positive mutual exchange of information, knowledge, skill, trade, consciousness, frequency, etc. that is mutually beneficial to everyone involved. Moving on to the Sirius energy. There's definitely an energy of you remembering that things are interpreted differently from different perspectives, different points of view. Everyone is at a different place in their evolutionary journey, especially when it comes to humanity. There is less of a consensus of mutual agreement and understanding here than there are in almost any other place, although that's not mutually exclusive. There is definitely a reminder here to continue to show up and to connect with the things that make you feel the waves of consciousness, the waves of existence, the waves of the ocean, the waves in your body, whatever that is that resonates with for you. Sirius has been working with you a lot physiologically lately. And they also would like to remind you that you do have a stronger soul plan or destiny or karma or plan connected to Sirius than you are currently thinking. Some of you might be already in connection with them. Others of you, you're like, Sirius, I don't know much about that at all. Wherever you are on your journey, that's totally fine. Of course, it's perfect. There is also a reminder here that wherever you are on this journey, there is extra exploration and a further depth for you to explore with the Sirius collective. And so they want to come through and let you know that they're opening a door and a portal for you in order to explore this more deeply. Sirius is aware that you have something that is of use to them, and they have something that's of use to you too. Now, they don't mean that in a strictly objective or linear kind of way. This is why it needed to wait until a particular level in your path in order for this chapter or this aspect to open up, because they have a gift from their place and you have a gift from a different place that is mutually beneficial. However, in consciousness, in integrity, and in awareness of what it is, why it is, and how it needs to happen, a certain level needed to be reached. You are aware that you have a gift external to Sirius that will help them in their evolution of consciousness and technology, and they also have the same for you. However, the manifestation of such needed an entire awakening journey in order to come to this point. Sirius wants to tell you that as your galactic ancestors, they do keep an eye on you and they watch over you. Things that manifest throughout your body are absolutely no accident at all whatsoever. And your geographical location are also absolutely no accident whatsoever. You are following a plan that has a pattern to it that you have seen time and time before. You know where you've been, you know where you're going. It is simply the experience and entertainment of walking through it. Sirius has a similar soul plan. with the beings that are your galactic ancestors. And so as your ancestors, they would like to remind you to connect with wherever it is that you feel waves, good waves, bad waves, any waves at all. And they also would like to remind you as well that when things come full circle, this is the opportunity to move outside of a pattern. Things that are circular, they say, are spirals. But if you are working in a spiral, you're still working in a pattern. And that is still something to break outside of. Sirius would like to remind you that your quirky energy, or your energy of making steps that are maybe breaking patterns in big ways, in small ways, in internal ways, and external ways, are more intentional and healthier for you than you might think. Even if you might feel a type of way about it. Now, as you being also a galactic ancestor to them, or an ancestor to Sirius, so they're flipping this message inside out now for you, they want you to know that they have been able to grow in unconditional love and gratitude. They've been able to have more of a holistic perspective of balance and find their center as a collective consciousness in some way, shape, or form. There is something here that I'm feeling they have promised to you as a soul, as a higher self, as a spirit in some way, shape, or form that is about to manifest like a prophecy. And you are going to have an awakening so that you can be able to witness this as it happens. Because not only is it important that you see and understand this as a soul, but also that you are consciously aware of it so that you know what steps are coming forward. Sirius is saying that they know that you've seen them in specific times of your life, or that they've connected with you in very particular ways that are intentionally unmistakable. Now, while it might not have made much sense then, they want you to know that it is soon to make sense. And they also want to tell you that from consciousness to consciousness, from frequency to frequency, person to person, if you will, there are a lot of things behind the scenes that are clear as day, that you've remembered before, that are more connected to them than you think. They showed you the answer in the moment that you were about to experience whatever the storyline is that poses a particular question. And in that moment that you step into that experience, you received the answer. And it is, or is related to, Sirius. Yes, you will be returning to a person, place, thing, location, frequency, experience, something. And when you do, you will have been on the other side of this realization, ready to now activate and move into the mastery. This insinuates that not only is this going to be revisited one more time, but 2 and possibly 3 more times throughout the course of your lifetime. A larger pattern that is meant to be broken by something that to you right now seems like a one-off event. It was the beginning of a pattern, but a positive pattern, an awakening pattern, a consciousness pattern. This is why it's been coming to you again, in your dreams, in your visions, in your aspirations, in the signs and synchronicities around you. And Sirius also would like to remind you that they are closer to you, your friends, and your planet than you think. Listen to music for specific messages from them. So moving on to the third collective here, we actually have the Golden Dragons. And this is a collective of Maldek. The Golden Dragons of Maldek would like for you to know that you have come a long way on your consciousness journey, and that you are at a place where you are ready, willing, and able to protect something. It is your discretion whether or not it is protectable, meant to be protected, or if it is in the best interest to protect this. Whatever this is, you are the one that can do this. You are also aware that there are several different nuances that might come as a result of this. You are deliberating cause and effect. While correlation is not causation, there is an effect to each cause. And the intention behind this is that you see things that you know whether or not they are correlated. Well, you see the correlation and you see whether or not they are caused by each other. And with this truth, you have the opportunity to protect something. You see the larger plan. You see perhaps the Akashic records of a system. You see perhaps the future of an industry or a system or a collective or a planet or of consciousness. And again, this is something that is worth protecting, if you so choose. This will remind you of another time that you connected with this collective. And this is in another lifetime of yours that you do feel strongly resonant with, but that hasn't connected with you in a while. There are old friends from this life who turned out to be foes. This life, just like in the last. And there is something more significant about that dynamic than you think. It is less about the friend or foe dynamic, and it is more about what it is that is being protected. The reason behind that. The value behind what is so important, what is so unique, that it must be coveted. The Golden Dragons of Maldek would like to remind you that destruction can bring about creation and new life. Also, the preservation of certain things can also bring about creation and new life. Do you choose to prolong the inevitable? Or do you choose to allow things to take their natural course while you witness as an observer or bystander? You are at this point in time being called into echo, whatever that means for you. I'm just being shown the word echo and like echoing wavelengths, or just I'm being shown something that to me resonates with the word echo, and it's the word, whatever it means to you, okay? And there's something about a change that is inside out and backwards of what the normal energy of it would be. When we think of a change, we think of inside out, or we think of backwards, or we think of adjacent. This is something that is flipping almost 360 degrees, but does still include a change, which will make something change rather at 355 degrees to 358 degrees. I don't know why that specifically, but that is what that's what I'm channeling, so we're just gonna roll with it, okay? So, throughout the activation and awakening of certain things, awakening includes unlearning, and unlearning involves learning more. Unlearning also involves disassembling. It also includes breaking down structures that are currently in existence in order to build new ones. And while this might be uncomfortable, especially in ways that others might not see, what the most abundant choice is, what the most righteous choice is possibly given to you in a way where your choice holds more power than is realized by you, by others, and or both. The Golden Dragons of Maldek would like to remind you that it is you who holds the power and the choice over your life, and that every action, every thought, every intention, every step that you take physically, in consciousness, emotionally, in every single plane of existence in and out of your body, connected to and unconnected from your body, do have an effect on the larger scheme of things. Look at the big picture. Look at your big picture. You see outside of these things. You're able to see from a higher perspective. Because you see from a higher perspective, you have both more understanding, compassion, empathy, and knowledge that might inevitably make it seem the opposite. If you tell a child not to touch a stove because it's hot, but they do touch a stove and they burn their hand, What is the appropriate amount of empathy and care that you give for that child? And how many times do you hold space for that? While there is not a definite right or wrong answer to something like this, the way that you choose to respond in situations like this, from the objective perspective to the with knowledge comes responsibility perspective, from the empathetic, compassionate, understanding perspective, as well as the perspective of having boundaries and knowing the value and worth of your time incarnate, are all factors to consider, yielding one fated outcome. You see this outcome, you also see the nuances that create this specific energy. Continue to unfold it and let it blossom. Continue to raise your vibration and expand and elevate your consciousness. And as you blossom, the old petals will fall off. Some things must be released in order to grow taller and blossom more. We use this analogy because the flower has no objective except to grow. There is no ulterior motive. There is nothing good or bad, it simply is. And in this way, you see that the nuances, the ups, the downs, the creation, the sustaining, the destroying of the things that are within and around you and others simply just are as well. And so, when a child who's already touched a hot stove touches a hot stove again, even though you've told them several times, even though they already know, at what point do you stay? At what point are they the victim? And at what point do you walk away? There is a reason for these lessons. As you know, Maldek suffered a similar consequence. However, history might not repeat itself if studied correctly, and all is not necessarily fair in love and war. Simply to play devil's advocate on that common phrase. Okay, so we've channeled from each of these three collectives for you, group 2. What we'll do now is pull a message for you individually as a consensus of this group of galactic ancestors for you. So, group number 2 is galactic ancestors. What is the message that you have for them together? Karmic lessons. What you are experiencing right now, as you know, you're following the plan. You know the plan that you're following your intuition, you know the outcomes of certain things, and you're choosing to walk through them anyway, because you already know it's fated, and the destiny that you are choosing to create, not the fate, but the destiny, the co-creation, is that you are playing out your part. However, you also see the end game. Because of this, you're also able to see the impact that you are having. For a lot of you, physically, clairvoyantly, literally see. However, as you are grounding, you are also exploring what it means to be human. You're also exploring what it means to be outside of a common dynamic in any which way, whether that's in consciousness, whether that's in physiology, whether that's in internal or external belief, whether that is in manifestation of anything at all whatsoever. We also had the behind the scenes card that came out for you, group number 2. This fell on the floor face down, so I picked it up, and we have behind the scenes. So there's certainly something behind the scenes here, especially pertaining to the Sirius Collective and the Golden Dragons Collective. I'm being reminded that 2024 was the year of the dragon, and that the golden snake is Kundalini. However, golden dragon, golden snake, they're not the same thing, but they can sometimes be construed as the same. When you think about what a dragon is, or what a dragon was known to be on planet Earth, think about the history there and see how that dynamic, how that story, how that misconception, how that creation of a story in some way, how the process there parallels something else that happens every day in your life and is common in the world around you. This will give you the answer that you seek about something that's convoluted. You already have most of the answers that you seek. You've already seen all of the answers that you seek. But when it comes to remembering them as you're walking through them, you are learning how to strengthen your remembering process. Your consciousness is anchoring further into your body, and you are learning how to express this more appropriately in ways that also resonate with you as an individual, as a human. With this, you are also aware of many things that you've experienced in and out of this life, especially in consciousness, especially in spirituality, many of which you dare not speak, many of which you don't feel maybe either qualified or resonate with you as a human person on this life. The reason that this is here is so that you see the anchor that you have in spirituality, in consciousness inherently. And not only does this relate to your growth and your capability, but it also shows you your life path, the one that you've chosen, the one that's inarguable, the one that no matter what you do or how you do it, certain things will manifest. And while it is true that it is your life to create, it is also true that there are things that you have already signed up for, that no matter which way you walk, they are inevitable and going to happen. The more that you walk in this flow because you are aware of what it is, the more that you will continue to learn and understand why you have the persona that you have, because it is the most accurate tool that you could possibly use in order to fulfill this mission or this plan. There is something that is hidden to you. However, it is something that you've already seen. Again, they would all like to remind you that this has a lot to do with something that you create, something that you have built or done for yourself, an opportunity you created, something physical that you created, like something creative, literally, or an opportunity or an experience that you created for yourself. Again, they're saying a message that came through with the Sirius card, and that is that the moment that the experience that led to the question started, you were given the answer to it. So, let's see from the tarot more details from this consensus message here. Knight of Pentacles, keep putting one foot in front of the other. You already know that you're on the right path, okay? Something is about to be revealed to you once more, but even more deeply this time from an even higher perspective, okay? You are going to continue to assist in the creativity and the spirituality in the ways that you have to serve the best, okay? The ways that you can best serve your community and the ways that they can serve you as well, okay? Again, they're going back to this idea of what it is to be coveted that turns a friend into a foe, or that makes a foe pretend to be a friend, what it is that you really have to be coveted, okay? And this has 7 and swords. It has to do with what you have to say, your connection with the divine. 7, crown chakra, swords, air, throat chakra, expression, okay? Your intellect as well, what it is that you know that others don't, okay? Because there's something here that 6 of Pentacles reverse, it's not reciprocal. It has to do with your individual path. If you have read certain books, then you have read them. And if someone else has not read them, then they haven't. If you have walked a specific soul journey and someone else has not, then that is the manifestation of such. And so the way that this manifests back into your personality is more important than you think. The reason why you feel called to certain places or certain experiences again and again are also important more than you think, as you know, but will continue to evolve into. And finally, that thing that repels you a little bit because it calls to you and repels you at the same time. Think of this as when you are in a crystal store. The crystals that you pick out, maybe they're the ones that you've been looking for because you've been wanting to work on a particular energy. Maybe they're the ones that call out to you and you feel drawn towards. They can also be the ones that seemingly repel you because you resonate with them or you're both charged the same. Remember, positive charges repel other positive charges when they get too close to each other, and negative charges repel other negative charges when they get too close to each other. So, you are being called to remember that sometimes it is because you are the same as the thing that might repel you that you might feel a certain way. So, group number 2. That is your channeled message from your galactic ancestors. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. If you're interested in a one-on-one, I do offer personals, so they're more personalized to you. I do offer channeling sessions, tarot readings, astrology readings, astrocartography readings, and Reiki sessions. I also do personalized light codes, so you can get your very own light code from your spirit guides, a particular collective, a certain energy, or just to work with over a long period of time so that it always is resonant with you along your journey. You can also find all the tarot and oracle decks used in today's readings, journals that I have created in order to assist you with your process, prompted and unprompted. You can also find the books that I've written, crystals that I wrap for you, and so much more on my store on Etsy at Spiritualistik. So personal readings and all of those things are going to be in the description box below and on Etsy at Spiritualistik. If you would like more exclusive content from me, I do channeled messages every Wednesday on my Inner Circle channel here on YouTube. I do exclusive content. Pick a card readings that are a little more grounded in nature on my Patreon every Thursday. And most days, I post a short collective reading about 10 minutes long on my TikTok subscription page. So keep an eye out for that. As always, I love you and I'm grateful for you. Have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it helps me out a lot. And it also helps the community find the energies that they are ready to experience. So I love you. I'm grateful for you. And I will see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 3. Namaste and welcome to your reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from your galactic ancestors. And you selected the third group with the gratitude practice card. Group number 3, the first thing that I'm getting here is that your galactic ancestors want you to know that they are grateful for you, and they're also very grateful for the specific connection that you hold with them. There's something that's special about your bond, is what I'm hearing. You've experienced some ups and downs together. I'm also definitely receiving this energy of a sacred moment, a sacred day, or a special vibration you are able to hold or share together in this lifetime. So this might be a moment that you connected with them, maybe knowingly or unknowingly to you. Maybe you had a spiritual experience that you can only describe as galactic or otherworldly, and maybe you are aware of where you're connecting with here, maybe you're not. But ultimately, there's something here about a specific moment, and I'm actually being shown a spiritual experience that I had a very long time ago, specifically. And when I had this experience, it was activated by the place I was at. So there's something here about perhaps ley lines, about special or sacred places or spiritual places on this earth, like Mount Shasta, like Waterloo, like Glastonbury, like Alexandria. Like there's something about just like Machu Picchu, like something that's very spiritually activated. So it might be that you were at a retreat, it might be that you were at a place, it might just be the place you were at in your life, but your galactic ancestors want to come through and just highlight and bring to the forefront a particular moment you've had. And they're grateful for your bond, they're grateful for your practice, and they're also practicing communicating with you in ways that are akin to a beautiful experience you've had that we mentioned, but that are more in alignment with your daily life and humanity. So it's almost like there's an energy of them trying to ground their efforts a bit to be more compatible with you as you raise your vibration a bit to be more compatible with this as well. So there's a little bit of this meeting in the middle. There's this beautiful I'm hearing like co-op like energy here. That's really beautiful. And with the gratitude energy, it is just bringing through gratitude. So we're going to take a look at the specific collectives coming through for you here. So basically the way this reading is going to work is I will pull and channel messages to you from galactic ancestors, and we're going to find who these ancestors are that are coming through for your reading today. We'll channel a message from each individual ancestry that chooses to come out, and then we'll channel messages from them collectively for you. So we'll pull a mutual consensus after this. So let's see, we have Polaris coming through for you. Galactic ancestors of group number 3, who's got a message for them that would like to come out? Messages to group number 3. We have Vega. Anyone else would like to come out for group number 3 today? Galactic ancestors of group number 3. Okay, I'm hearing that's okay, yes. So I was hearing that's it as pertaining to those are all of the collectives that want to come out, and then we had 2 more come out, and this makes sense because we had Lyra, which is connected to Vega, and we also had Mantid Master Healers, which is connected to Antares. It's the Mantid collective. So these are very, I'll just say these are supporting collectives for you at this point in time for this message. These might be collectives that you are familiar with or that you connect with often, but who wanted to speak with you today specifically are Polaris and Vega, and in this message you have the support of the Mantid collective and Lyra. So we'll flip over the light codes to attune to these energies, and I do want to let you know right now that I do have channeled messages on my public profile here on YouTube, as well as on my collective channel, my membership channel here on YouTube, my inner circle, from each and every one of these collectives. So if you are wanting messages from all of these collectives here, or more in-depth messages, you can find those on my channel already. I'm going to pull from Polaris and Vega because these are the energies that want to come through today. These are the support, so that's why I wanted to mention this for your reading specifically. So we're going to allow these light codes to align and attune the vibration, and we're going to pull up the energy here so that we can scry off of these 2. So messages to group number 3 from Polaris. You are in a slingshot moment. This is something that you're familiar with. You are experiencing a great wave of change. Polaris would like for you to know that they are more accessible to you than you think, and they're also more responsible for certain aspects of your spiritual journey than you think. Sorry, we were seeking the right words because they're using my vocabulary, and I think the word they wanted to use was not responsible, but something that is not on the tip of my tongue, because you are responsible for your journey. Polaris would like for you to understand that the way that you go about things is the way that you're meant to, and sometimes you will seek unfamiliar territory, whether it is in feelings, whether it's in practice, whether it's in the order that you go about your day, or whether it's in different cultures across the world. You're going to find that you're often called into unfamiliar territory. And you'll also find that it is the fact that it's unfamiliar that is a big deal to you. It might be that you've been there before, you've journeyed there before, but that when you're called back, it's when it's unfamiliar to you. So that you are at some point always freshened up energetically, pertaining to different experiences, different locations, different situations, etc. Polaris wants you to know that it's important that you have collected such a large amount of frequential experience in this life, experience of frequency, meaning not the likelihood or the quantity, but rather the collection of experiences you've had in this life, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, relationally, spiritually. You are also aware that you are being acclimated physiologically to where you're going to be next. And you're also aware that it is in direct contrast from where you are. You will experience perhaps jolts or small side effects or ascension symptoms in your body as you are aware of where you're being called to next. You're also aware that it is not for you to pick up and head there just because you've received this information. Things will flow for you naturally. And as this is naturally occurring, you will end up in the environment that is the closest to yours, even though the environment will be different. And you are acclimating to being able to tolerate the drastic, polar other side of that environment as well. So I'm being called, for example, for an example, I'm being shown clairsentiently. Sorry, I'm channeling, and so I'm in this trance channel state, and I'm also called to explain what it is that I'm experiencing while I'm channeling this. So there's a little bit of push and pull here between me and not me, of course. So Polaris wants to channel this message in a way where, say that you live somewhere that's very hot, and you are called to a place that's very cold. It doesn't just need to be geographically, just roll with the example for a moment. You will find that you begin to get colder and colder and colder. You will find that not just your internal body temperature drops, not drastically or medically or at an alarming rate, but perhaps by a little bit. You'll find that you feel more comfortable in the cold. You'll find that you enjoy the warmth and you really soak it up, but that your body starts acclimating to cold, even though where you live it's hot. You'll find that where it is that you're drawn, when you are drawn there, when the universe places you there, it will be when it's summer, but it will still be to you very cold. But you are acclimating to the fact that the summer there is cold, and the winter will be even colder, or the opposite for those of you who live in the southern hemisphere. And that hemisphere change might be relevant for you as well. Okay, so channeling Polaris again, just through consciousness here. You are evolving and expanding. Expanding is a big one. So you're going to find that you do, again, breach unfamiliar territories. You're also going to find that friends of yours are going to reemerge in your life, and that Polaris is bringing them to you. So energies that you feel a kinship with that are not specifically guides for you, you're going to find they're brought to you by Polaris at this time. They would like for you to continue to look up and not to worry as much about your throat chakra at this point in time, because what you want to express now is going to evolve and expand. So you do not need to worry about the expression until you're on the other side of something. This might not be a familiar take, but sometimes you're called to express through your journey, and sometimes you're called to express the before and then the after, so that you can see and experience the difference with no muddiness or confusion in the middle. There is a similarity here between the things in your surroundings and Polaris in general, and when you open your eyes more, you'll be able to actually see that a lot of what you have around you right now actually represents Polaris, in maybe a way that was done unconsciously to you. In the same way, they are letting you know that they are structuring your life with you. Polaris is assisting you with this reconstruction, also reminding you that your gifts awaken the gifts in others. Your gifts are contagious, but they're still your gifts. While it's true that nothing belongs to anyone, it is also true that what you have evolved into is contagious. However, the work in order to unlock those chapters is necessary, as you know and you have done. Again, you will find old friends come to you in an understanding that they were leaning on you without realizing it. And you will come to find that what it is that you are picking up on now, what it is that you are acclimating to, will bring something back around full circle, ready for a new beginning. I'm taking a deep breath, and we'll now scry off of this light code here from Vega for you. So messages to group number 3 from Vega, please come through here. And then we'll pull the collective message from all 4 of these collectives for you and see what they would like to share with you. Group 3. Vega would like for you to remember your primordial spirit, your first spark of consciousness, or a few incarnations away from your first spark of consciousness. Remember that often things in this realm, and even in the spiritual realm, are inside out of the way that they actually are. Spirit looking down into Earth has the opposite perspective of Earth looking up at Spirit. In the same way, the primordial energy looking down at the spiritual realm, if you will, is also going to be inside out of such. So while some things are inverted mirrors, others are literal. Connecting with your primordial spirit and or your first spark of consciousness that you can remember or attune to, you're being called to a time or a place in your spiritual journey where you felt as though maybe you were in samadhi, ananda, like either pure bliss. You felt like you maybe had a near-death experience, perhaps, or you were in an energy of being outside of your body and outside of the shell that you usually relate to as your spirit. An opportunity to really let go. Different from oneness, this will be an isolated experience. Vega wants to connect with you here to remind you that as you remember what it is that you've seen and where it is that you are. This grid, I'm hearing, for lack of a better term, they're using the word grid for understanding, not for technicality. This grid is something that you are going to be now utilizing more often. It is something that is unconscious to you, although you have conscious access to it. It is something that has unconsciously come through your energy field that makes you magnetic and mystifying and also mysterious. However, this will now be your normal in energy, in consciousness. And as you relate back to these energies, you're going to remember some beings that you relate to or remember or have experienced that haven't crossed your mind in a while. Vega will guide you through this as they're more closely related to something or someone than you previously thought. They also would like to remind you that the vibration of everything you experience, they all go back to the same source. And this is something that you've experienced several times in several different ways over a long period of time. It is also something that is the gift that keeps on giving to you and to others. It is no mistake that you have been learning how to receive in a different way recently, because what it is that you have to offer is something that is not meant to be undermined, although it is often misunderstood. You will have another opportunity to receive something that didn't go the way as planned, and it will be bigger and better this time. You have been a topic of a lot of conversation in a lot of different realms, and you are also aware that things are changing and shifting for you. Vega would like for you to know that although you understand the mass misconception pertaining to spirituality and even the physical realm, you also have access to something whose name you have yet to find. Perhaps several of these. These are the energies that will be guiding you through this next chapter of your path. And they also seek your guidance as well. Remember the inside-out analogy that was expressed earlier. These energies are primordial. Therefore, their names cannot be fathomed in a human language. This does not mean they cannot be named. Vega would like for you to know that you are currently the only one who is able to connect with certain energies because of your unique path to get to where you are. As you expand these energies, you will find that your gifts help others. Your gifts are contagious. Your connection with these energies are also contagious. This will be a supersonic energy, and Vega wants you to know that these are their ancestors that you connect with. Vega is often known galactically as a great ancestor. We've got the Mantids, Antares, we've got Lyra coming through as support, the original Lyrans. We've got, yes, the Mantids. Vega is often known as the great ancestor. So is Lyra, so is Antares, and so is Polaris. The reason why your energy here that's coming through is very ancient is because your galactic ancestry is the ancestry of these energies. It is because the originals to you are already the next generation of what it is that you've been connecting to your whole life. And as you continue your journey and unfold to where it is that you've been, remember, see, and experience, you are also going to find more and more that, yes, you are friends with these collectives. Yes, you've experienced these collectives. Yes, you will continue to be in connection with these collectives, but that it is their ancestry that you seek and have been connecting to all along. You will once more connect with the ocean in a new way. And as you do, Vega wants you to know that what goes up must come down. Continue to see the bigger picture, and remember that not only is there always a bigger picture, remember, however, that those that you relate with in this lifetime will feel in consciousness the energies that you connect with. But most likely, they will resonate not with the ancestors, but with the generation akin with them. You will find others to connect with you, but you will be the anchor. You will be the channel. You will be the spokesperson. And Vega does want you to know that the light at the end of the tunnel and what is beyond that is not only your ancestry, but your greatest galactic supporter in this life. You remember your roots. So do not get swept away by the earthly drama, or even the collectives that have emerged since. They can be your friends, but still, you are their ancestor. So, behave accordingly. Internally, know that you know accordingly. Do not speculate where there is no need to. Do not question where you already have the answers. Your curiosity got you to this place, and it is when you stop learning that you stop living truly. You had an early start. You had a rough start. This is why you remembered so soon. You have been grounding while others have been ascending. And Vega has been a halfway point for you. This is why they come up when they do and in the way that they do. And it's also why they're so drastically present or so noticeably not there on your journey. Group 3, that is your channeled message from Vega. So we'll get into the Oracle and Tarot, and we're going to see what the consensus is. So we're going to pull a message to you from all 4 of these collectives. The 2, Polaris and Vega, that wanted to come out, as well as the 2 supporters for you, the Mantids and Lyra as well. So we're going to pull some cards. Again, reminder, you pulled the Gratitude Practice card. So this is just always a nice base, a nice root for your spiritual practice, just life in general, going back to gratitude. I'm hearing this song Back To by Selena Gomez, but it's like you is gratitude or source or some higher vibration, okay? So what is the message from the Galactic Ancestors as a group to group number 3? We're using my Follow Your Heart Oracle. I was scrying off of the Light Codes Oracle. Be selected from my mini Oracle, and then we'll pull from my Graphic Tarot. You have listening to animal guides, okay, especially with the Mantid energy here, okay? Remember that every being on this earth has a galactic origin, and that you can connect with new spiritual information or new spiritual perspectives by allowing yourself to connect with different animals on this earth. Plants too. Okay, I'm getting that you'll find curiosity with like insects, reptiles, arachnids, and maybe even like ocean creatures as well. Okay, intuitive protection, what else? Stand in your power, that's a big one. Okay, anything else? Messages from group number 3's Galactic Ancestors. Okay, yeah, it's your ancestors. Yeah, so do not doubt, okay? There's a spiritual energy here that's coming through, especially with the Lyra and the Vega energy. They're saying they're your ancestors. This is your ancestors, especially this energy that seems to be larger than or outside of this energy whatever it is that's outside of this, that is your ancestry. That is your ancestors. There is this huge energy coming through that is confirmation for that for you. And this is also going back to that throat chakra message you had earlier, which was, in my opinion, a little bit odd about wait for the throat chakra expansion. Just wait for it. But other things need to get where they're going first and then express it. Because there's this energy of the in-between. You can express one perspective and then you learn something and then you express what's on the other side, rather than expressing during the journey, which sometimes is advice that comes out from different places at different points in different people's time, like experiences and timelines and things. So right now, you're being called to stand in your power, listen, and know that you are intuitively protected, especially when it is that you are experiencing maybe collectives or other spiritual experiences that you cannot find on Google. You cannot find when you search the web. You cannot find when you connect with other channelers. You cannot find when you look in books. You cannot find anywhere except for within your memory. Because there are collectives that exist outside the Akashic records. There are collectives that exist outside the astral worlds, which is where all of these spiritual light beings exist. There are collectives that exist within the causal realm. There are collectives that exist in primordial energies. There are collectives that exist outside of this. Therefore, trust that your intuition is grounded. They're using the word grounded intentionally because they're, again, alluding to a message that came through about a spiritual experience you had, or perhaps you did or almost left your body. Maybe you had an out-of-body experience, a near-death experience. Perhaps you had some sort of Ananda experience or Samadhi experience, whatever that relates to you. There's something here about floating outside of your body like a balloon in some way and being filled with helium and not knowing if you're going to come back down. Something like this. And so they want to remind you that when you are exploring these places, these collectives, specifically, you are protected in consciousness, intuitively, in your body, in everything. And remember that it is always your choice of your consciousness, whether you are aware or unaware of it in your physiological mind. Your consciousness is always the one making the choice. So to have this experience and be protected, this is already done. It's already said and done. So they would like to remind you that as you explore these places, you are protected. Your hand is being held. I do also want to remind you that they're holding your hand, or the spiritual equivalent of that, while you float off, while you explore, while your consciousness explores, in your journeying meditations, in your experiences, etc. They also want to remind you that when you have these grand experiences and you come back down to the ground, do stand in your power. Do stand in that. When you shed parts of you, parts of your consciousness, things that you've learned, even parts of your personality, when you remember and you shed those pieces of you that were built before you remembered or outside of that, once your memory has been jogged, once your consciousness has been jogged, come back down and allow yourself to behave authentically. I'm getting to remind you as well that the people, places, things in your life, they will resonate with you in your most authentic self. And they deserve the chance to get to know what that is. Let others have the chance to get to know you. Mind, body, spirit, consciousness, spiritual friends, physical friends, animal friends, plant friends. You have awakened into this before, you'll awaken into it again, and now it's grounding as your normal. It's not something to awaken into, it's not something you have access to reaching, it is now going to be your grounded normal, this place. Therefore, as you're called to explore even more deeply, even more into the ancestry of that, remember that your hand is being held. Your authenticity matters. And don't forget to explore those interdimensional and multidimensional folds of the space-time continuum, of the astral, of the causal. Remember as well that everything you experience, the particles that form that, each and every one hold their own world and are a portal to something else as well. So you will be exploring the ins and outs, the inside out, the mirrors, the distortions, all of the different manifestations, but in a larger way. Your energy field, your consciousness, it's yawning, basically. It's yawning open. And so, your galactic ancestors want to let you know that yes, you are on the right path. No, it was not an accident that you have found these lost things. Yes, you are guided and protected. And yes, you do relate to these energies in the way that you know already that you do. They want me to give you confirmation for that. They want me to give you the confirmation that you do not need to seek confirmation for what you already know. So how's that? And they also would like to remind you that love is the greatest grounded frequency you have access to in the astral realm. The way that your fifth dimensional consciousness relates to your experience and your grounded reality, the strongest vibrational there is love. Because that is number 5 and the astral is number 4. So, stand in that power. It is your superpower. And once you awaken into that realm, do not be afraid to explore and float outside of that either, which there is. So we'll get into the tarot and see messages from group number 3's galactic ancestry. Okay, 4 of Cups. I'm hearing, don't you worry about a thing. King of Wands, yes, okay. You still have yet to step into your spiritual power, believe it or not. With your spiritual capacity, you have been standing in your power. However, it is also expanding, and you are to stand in this power again as well. Meaning that you have not yet, you are still, I'm being shown like the tip of the iceberg analogy, but you are at like sea level here. So there's the tip of the iceberg, and you know how big the iceberg is, but you are like going down into the water. You're beginning to actually embody the whole iceberg. You're dipping your toe into the water, or you're dipping your third eye into the water, your spiritual eye. You are going to be called to, I'm hearing, bring others with you on your journey. It's giving like a guided meditation or a guided journey in some way. Astral, it's giving guiding others in their travels. Okay, so that can be literal for you, geographical for you, as like a job. It can also be like through meditation, it can be through dreams, it can be through the astral state. So most likely that will become a mirror where that's what you do physically and it's also what you do spiritually, and you're going to find that wherever it starts, it clears out the channel so that it can be both perspectives and everything in between, okay? In your material life, you're going to find that you kind of start to have this, again, arrow energy, this slingshot energy is coming through again. So things are going to progress for you very quickly, and this is going to lead you into success. So don't be afraid to feel pulled back towards something familiar, because it is here that you're going to find that, again, this is where you connect with something you've already awakened into, but doesn't fit your regular life. Again, you've been walking your regular life looking up, and spirit looks down at earth. Earth looks up at spirit. Therefore, where those two energies meet is having this big yawning open. So everything that you can reach in consciousness, it is now permeating through your body, through your conscious awareness, through your spiritual abilities, through your physical body now. Because it's not something you can reach or something you can strive to. It is something that you have full access to. It is something that is a world within you. It is something that you are called to birth into this reality in some way. And it's something that you are called to remind others of, or give them inspiration to, or to utilize to help others empower themselves. This material reality will fend for itself for you as you open yourself up to this journey. I'm getting to tell you that on behalf of your galactic ancestors and all of your other spirit guides, friends, you will find that your material reality is taken care of while you venture on the spiritual journey. So do not feel like you need to play ping pong back and forth between spirit and earth, because while you are on this journey, things are going to be taken care of for you in the material realm, with your body, with your intuition, with your consciousness. Again, we have this 10 of Pentacles as protection while you journey, and we also have intuitive protection as protection while you journey. So things are being worked out so that you have almost this bubble for this experience right now. Like, you are placed in this protective bubble. And while this expands, while this shines through you once more, not as a place to access, but as your new regular frequency permanently, until of course you evolve even further, this is going to be something that is a process, and it's something that can really only be understood by going through it. So, your old friends and new wish to tell you that they love you and they're grateful for you and they're here for you. And your galactic ancestors would like to tell you as well that there's a reason that you chose the realm of physical creation and manifestation for your journey. And it has a lot more to do with the sun shining through the solar plexus than anything else, or than you previously thought. Because what that means to you, the collective you find there, the collective that you find there, will be the structure that you connect with regularly for the next chapter of your life, or in the long run from now on. Okay, group 3, that is your channeled message from your galactic ancestors. If you're interested in a personal reading, I do offer one-on-ones. So you'll find channeled messages on my Etsy store at Spiritualistik. I also have personal tarot readings. I do personalized light codes as well, or if you're interested in my light codes oracle deck that you see here, or any of the other decks I used, you can find those on my store as well. I do offer, yes, personals for channeling, tarot, astrology, astrocartography, and I do Reiki sessions as well. So if you're interested in any of those, you can work with me on my Etsy store at Spiritualistik. All of that's linked in the description box below. If you would like channeled messages from these specific collectives, you can find them here on my public YouTube channel. You can also find them on my Inner Circle channel on YouTube, also in the description box. I have 3 subscription collective platforms, so you'll be able to find one on here on YouTube. There's where I post every Wednesday. That's mostly channeled messages. That's a lot of trance channeling. It's a lot of connecting with collectives, consciousnesses, high vibrational beings. Sometimes we do fun things like birds and plants and animals and things in your body. I also have my Patreon, where I post every Thursday. That's going to be more grounded content. That's going to be your what you don't see coming guidance for this period of life, finances, love readings, future self readings. It's a lot of that kind of stuff. I also have one on TikTok, which is just me posting like 10-minute readings almost daily that are just collective readings that are whatever spirit wants to bring forward. You know how collective readings go. So if you're interested in those, all of that except the TikTok one will be linked in the description box. You can find me on TikTok at Spiritualistik. Most of you have found me here from over there, so I did just recently open the subs channel there if you're interested in following along there. As always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me. It helps me out a lot, especially on my YouTube journey, and it helps other people find the energies that they're ready to tap in with and connect to when they're ready. It gives it a boost in the algorithm so that it can find the other people who resonate with these energies. So, as always, I love you and I'm grateful for you. Check out another pile or another reading if that calls to you, and I will see you next time. Namaste.